In this video, I'm going to show you how to multiply fractions where we have a proper fraction. So we have a whole number, a whole part plus a fraction. So today's number sentence is 3 times 1 and 2/4. So we'll start off with the pictorial method, which is where I've drawn the bar models. And you'll notice the bar models look slightly different to what they usually do. And this fraction is the reason why. So if we go through and I show you, we've got 3 lots of models because we're multiplying by 3. So you can see 3 lots of those models. And they're kind of double-decker models. And the reason they are double-decker models is because we have one whole part. And we also then have the fraction as well. Okay, so the reason they are 4 squares long is because our denominator is 4. That's not changed. And what we mean by this big 1, you might not have seen this before, but this big 1 means that is a full model. Okay, so one full model. So I'll start off and I'll shade that. So we've got one full model. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So full is 4 out of 4. And then we've also got an extra 2/4. So for each model, we have 1 full and 2/4. And we've got 3 lots of that because we're multiplying by 3. So I'll go and repeat this now for the other 2 models. So 1 full, 2/4. And finally, we've got 1 full. So that's 4 out of 4. And 2/4. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to work out what all of this is added together. Okay, now last time I drew a bar model to show you, so we can do that. So we have 1, 2, 3 full bars. So we'll start up here. So we've got, that's 1, 2, 3 full bars, and we have got 2, 4, 6 shaded. So we've got those here. Okay, just looks like a load of lines now. You will see in just a moment what we are talking about. Right, let's start moving over. So 3 full bars, let's shade them. So 1 full bar here. So all we've done is basically squish these models together so you see really clearly the view. 2 full bars, 3 full bars. Now we're going to look at those 2/4. So we've got 1, 2 in the top model. Got another 2 in the middle model, and we've got another 2. And we have another 2 in the bottom model. Okay, so now what we need to do is we know our denominator is 4. Our denominator does not change, the same rule as before. We are only multiplying the numerators, but this time we are multiplying those whole numbers too. And we're going to count up. So we've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 17, and 18. So that makes 18 over 4, 18/4. So 18 over 4. Okay, we can simplify this fraction. I will in a moment go one step further and I will show you how to simplify that. For right now, we're leaving it as a top-heavy fraction, and that's what we call it when the numerator is larger than the denominator. It's called an improper or a top-heavy fraction. Okay, let's move on to the written method. So if we go for those golden rules again, written method. So we multiply the full number and the numerator. So once again, we do not touch that denominator. So we'll multiply the full number and the numerator. So we'll go ahead, write it out larger, and I will show you. So we've got 3 times 1 and 2/4. Okay, so the first step we're going to do, so step 1, multiply the whole. And the whole is this number here. Okay, so we know that 3 times 1 is 3. And then the second step, if I change colours, so step 2, multiply numerator. And we know our numerator is 2. There we go. And that is 3 times 2 makes 6. Keep our denominator the same. So we know that this answer is 3 times 1 2/4 makes 3 6/4. Now this is still an improper fraction, and that's okay, you can leave it like that. But for those of you who want a challenge today, I'm going to go one step further and I'm going to show you how to turn these into proper fractions. So we've got two formats, we've got 18/4 and we've got 3 6/4. So in both of these fractions, your numerator is larger, they're top heavy. So when converting improper fractions to proper fractions, you need to look at how many whole parts you have. And a whole part here would be 4 out of 4. So how many times does 4 go into 18? So we know that 4 goes into 16 4 times. So that's 4 wholes. And there is 2 left over because there's a difference of 2 between 16 and 18. And that makes this fraction 4 wholes and 2/4. To double check that, we're going to do the same process with our other fraction, which again is improper but in a different way. So this time we've got 3 6/4. So we'll leave the 3 alone for the moment. Out of the 6, how many times does 4 go into it? How many holes do they have there? So we know we have 1 more hole. We add that to the 3. So in total we now have 4 holes. And the difference between 4 and 6 is 2. So you're left with 4 2/4. Do our fractions match? Yes, they do. So we're confident that that is correct. Like I said, you do not have to convert your fractions. You can leave them as top heavy improper fractions. That will be all right too. But just for those of you who wanted to push yourself and wanted an extra challenge today, go ahead and convert your fractions.